Yeah, we grew up, but nobody warned us. Life moves fast when the world keeps turning. Kids in the backseat, parents getting older. Still leaning on my brothers when the weight gets colder. Whoa, we're all just trying to make it through. Whoa, love you, pal, I got you. Whoa, we're all just trying to make it through. Love you, pal, I got you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Love You Pal podcast. We're three brothers who are navigating the sandwich generation of life, taking care of our kids while also dealing with loss and aging parents. If you aren't following us on socials, make sure you check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Love You Pal Pod or Love You Pal Podcast. Today, we are one less, as you can see. Michael has a touch of laryngitis, so he had to take the week off. So
He's recovering.
Best wishes. Hope.
Best wishes.
What do I say at
I'm gonna
work?
send you.
I hope they're gonna be okay.
Such a nice get well balloon.
BLS call. I'll be like, oh man, I hope they're gonna be okay.
Have a better day. That's what we used to say.
Have a better day.
When we would hang up, or from the old 911 call was have a better day.
Have a better day.
Have a better day.
Stay blessed.
So
So
that was if we didn't meow at them.
meow. I was meowing at Liv the other day because we saw a cat driving through the neighborhood.
Meow.
And I just kept going meow, meow, meow. She's like, stop. I'm like, why? She goes, it sounds too real.
Well, that's like every time we drive by cows, and I live in the country, so it's every day. My youngest, Evie, will go, cows, moo! Yep. So every time, and legitimately, we drive by cows every day. So, cows moo every day.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think today we're going to dive into some a little bit deeper stuff. Talking about, in the pre-show, we were talking, both of us have had a rough, probably couple weeks, just kind of missing dad, with some grief stuff and, continuously working through the process of grief, which is never ending, which is something that I know I'm learning. I think that, Jay, you're probably learning the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
That, there's no set timeline. I don't think that it will ever end. I think that it's just you continue to learn how to live with it. So we'll talk a little bit about that stuff today. We're just kind of talking about grief and talking about missing dad. It's just been a rough couple weeks. I don't know why. I can't put a finger on.
You can never put your finger on it. It's always like you don't. I guess the best way to describe it for me is like it'll come in waves where it's like. Every once in a while, like someone will just hit me or whatever. And like I was just we were talking about Dad's favorite movie was Field of Dreams. So like the MLB had the Field of Dreams game on last night. We're recording on Friday. It was there on Thursday. And just like sitting there watching the baseball game and like them playing the music was getting me like teary-eyed because it just reminded me of Dad. So
yeah. How wild was that first pitch?
Oh, so cool.
So great.
So great. But then the best part is the great Hambino being in the background.
He's coming out with a new show.
Sit in second row. Yeah. What's it? That's like coaching dads or something like dad coaches.
I forget what it's called. Yeah.
Looks awesome.
We'll review it when it comes out.
It's definitely right up our alley. Definitely. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's 100% right up my alley, coaching baseball.
It's a sequel to The Sandlot, which is one of my favorite movies.
So good. And it's all the guys. They brought all the guys back, which is awesome. But yeah, so like the thing with me is like it definitely comes in waves. There's definitely weeks where like I'm like, man, like this is a rough week, and then there's weeks where it's like I'm totally fine. But the last week has been brutal, and I mean there's just been, I've had dreams. I've had like he's been in my dreams, and like I was telling Sean I had a dream where like all of our dead relatives were coming into a house, and I was like the greeter at the door. And like, this is sans like NyQuil, ZQuil. This is straight up like just my brain being jacked up.
Wow. Well, you always were like the paranormal, right? Like you always used to hear
Yeah,
Grandpa's
that's true.
footsteps and like Dusty.
No, it
Is there
wasn't even Grandpa's
claws?
footsteps. Like,
Oh, he would just stand next to you.
no, he was in the door. Like, so I was probably like 10 or 12, and I woke up and like I had a loft bed in my bedroom. So I woke up and like I looked at my door and my door was cracked and I saw what I thought was Dad. And like it was like, Dad, go back to bed. Like, why are you out? Why are you up? And like he just kind of disappeared. So I wake up the next morning and go out to breakfast. Mom's out there. I'm like, oh, Dad's in Denver. Like, why am I thinking Dad was there? So I tell Mom a story, and she's like, oh, it's probably Grandpa Morehouse. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, like Grandpa Morehouse, my dad's dad, passed away before he even met us. Like, but he passed away when Dad was a freshman in college.
Yeah.
So like we never met him. Like we've seen videos of him and stuff. But like she goes, oh, that's Grandpa Morehouse. Like he stops by and checks on you guys every once in a while. It's like, okay, like could you have told us this before like I got the crap scared out of me?
Right.
But then like we had a dog the Dusty, our dog, before we got our I guess third dog, because we had Maggie, Dusty, and then Trixie. Dusty used to sleep in the hallway, and we had a split level. So, or yeah,
Split four. It's a split four.
Split four.
Yeah.
So Dusty she would either lay at the top of the stairs, waiting for us to get home, or come upstairs from like being in the basement / downstairs. And then when we all went to bed, she would sleep in the middle of the hallway where all 3 bedrooms came out. So before we got Trixie, we would hear her footsteps, like the scratch of her nails coming down the hardwood floor, and then the big thud. She was a 120-pound golden retriever Samoyed mix. So we would hear the big thud of her hitting the ground, and then that was it. Like, or I would. So, but there's definitely definitely believe in like paranormal stuff. Like, I think it's cool. I think it's cool knowing that there's other people around.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I see it more often now than I did before. Like I feel like I've seen more like energies, I guess, than I have in the past, but ever since Dad died. But yeah, definitely believe in that stuff. Definitely think it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we all, like the 4 of us now, Mom, and then 3 of us, all believe in that, Dad is, and I mean, we see him in cardinals. At least that's where I see him. That's where Mom sees him. So like, it's funny, this morning I woke up and I went downstairs. I was talking to Kate about my conversation with Mom yesterday, because I talked to her for like an hour, and I see Dad, aka a cardinal, on the tree right outside the sunroom. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, really, Dad? Really?
Yeah.
Dealing with all this stuff? Really?
Well, it's like
and then he flew away. I'm like, yeah, this exactly. There you go.
100%. That was him. And like we were talking, I forget, I think I was coming home from dropping the kids off yesterday in the morning. And like I was just thinking about him. And all of a sudden this cardinal flies right by the front of my car. And like I'm like, okay, like I get it. We're good.
Yeah.
But I mean, my big like living in Virginia, cardinals are everywhere. So like for me, cardinals weren't really the sign at first. But Dad was a big patriotic guy. Like I'm very patriotic. Like I work for the government. I'm very passionate about like America and everything. So like when Dad died, it like I would see cardinals all the time. I'm like, whatever, like cardinal. But there was 2 things that I saw that I hadn't seen before since we moved down here. One was hummingbirds.
Oh.
So, and we legitimately we don't have feeders or plants that hummingbirds like. And Liz and I are sitting on the deck. I think it was the week we got back after the funeral. And a hummingbird comes flying by and just stops. And it's like in between Liz and I on the porch, just hovering, like turning back and forth and looking at us. And I'm like, what's up, Dad? Like, we're good here. Like, just hovering. And I was like, it stayed there for probably 4 or 5 minutes. So that, and then bald eagles.
Oh yeah, I see bald eagles all the time.
So like there's a big nesting area by me. One of the lakes is like renowned for like bald eagles during mating season, nesting season. But they never come past our house. They always fly a different direction. And the month after he died, it was just bald eagle after bald eagle after bald eagle. And like one came and landed in the tree and just sat there while
cool.
we were outside. And it was awesome. So definitely believe in those signs and stuff.
Yeah. The signs are, I think it's therapeutic.
Oh, 100%.
To an extent, like, that, and whether you believe in it or not, it's just that little piece of solace that you have that you see him and you're like, all right, still there. He's checking up on me, making sure I'm good. He knows
Right.
I'm having a rough couple of weeks. He's just checking in, making sure that, things are copacetic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I have not had as many dreams about Dad as you have. I know that you had a couple like right after he died, and then, but he's only come to me like twice. And it was within the last couple weeks that I forget what the dream was about, but he came to me. It was a longer dream. Like usually it's really short, but this time it was like longer. And, my analytical mind is like, well, what is he trying to tell me? What's going on? And I think it's just visiting. Like, I think it's just like, hey man, I miss you. Like, I just want to hang out for a little bit, even though you're sleeping, and, I'm going to freak you out a little bit because you're going to think about what this means. But like, he's just coming down and being like, hey pal, we're good.
He probably thinks it's funny. Like,
no doubt he thinks it's funny.
He's like, I'm going to come to you when you're confused about this thing at work, and I'm going to be like, just hanging out and like drinking beers on the beach or something like that. And you're going to think like, oh, what is this sign?
Right,
it's literally just him going like, hey, we're just having beers. Like, but you're going to think harder and deeper into it, which is always funny. Yeah. And he that's the kind of crap that he thought was funny too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always that little, like, just, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it was always like the little things, right? Like, just catching his eye during like something like mom's going on a rant, or like Michael's
sitting at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Or like when we went over one time, and I don't know what we went over for, but we were like, I don't even think it was a birthday or anything. We just went over for dinner, and we're sitting there, and we're like, we had dinner or whatever, and Dad's like, oh, could really go for some Baileys. Got a new bottle downstairs. Let's do it. And like, I see Mom out of like the corner of my eye, and she's like, oh, here we go. And he and I proceeded to sit there and drink the entire brand new bottle of Baileys, and we're absolutely annihilated and just laughing our asses off.
Well, that was the last Thanksgiving that we were up there.
Yeah. I mean, when he when he went to stand up and he couldn't. His legs didn't work. And that was pre-surgery.
And then Mom got all mad.
Got off.
You guys got him drunk again.
Sure did.
Happens. Sorry, he's going to snore tonight, Mom.
Real bad.
He's going to get up 17 times to go to the bathroom. So she used to get so bad when they would come down and we would drink a bunch of beers, and she'd be like, he's up there all night just peeing. Got to stop drinking all those beers before bed. Well,
nah.
You can do everything. You can do anything once, Mom, but we're not going to do that. That's not going to happen.
No.
Watching Live PD.
Live PD and Coors Lights is the best Friday and Saturday night with him.
Friday and Saturday night ever.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
But yeah, I mean, I think like the grief aspect, no one really talks about it before you lose somebody. You're never prepared, no matter if it's a long illness or whether it's something sudden. You're never prepared for it. And then there's not a lot. I feel like there's been more out there recently. I think that the message is getting out. And I think that, our generation of folks is a little bit more open with our feelings and how things affect us, which is great because it allows you to know that you're not alone in this adventure. But at the same time, it's hard to relay that to our parents because they're still as stoic as, they've been. Like they don't like to talk about it still.
That, and like, if you like think about like the push in mental health right now, and like it started a couple of years ago where it's like I think everybody has some level of anxiety / depression. Like it's everyone goes through a time in their life when you have that. And like myself, like I didn't know, I knew I had anxiety, let's say, but like I could handle it and I could control it. And then I switched jobs during COVID and moved.
I can tell you
And
COVID
like
was
I
the
went,
catalyst for it.
yeah. And like I went from working for the government to quitting my job at the government before I had started a new job, moving my family of 6 down to Virginia from New Jersey, going on a vacation internationally where we had to test to come back into the country. And I had to test on a Saturday and report to my new job on Monday. So like if I tested positive in St. Martin, like we would go away with my in-laws in St. Martin. And like part of the thing to get out of the country is you had to test for COVID, which was everywhere. So like we're waiting in line and my anxiety, like I am just dying inside. And like this is post me going to the doctor and being like, hey man, like I'm losing it. Like I need some help. Like, so like he put me on, I think it was Wellbutrin, and like I'm still on it to today.
I love Wellbutrin.
And like, it just gives me that clarity where I'm not overthinking things. And I think that that's been a huge help to like myself and my family. Like there was definitely like tension in my marriage before I was on that. Like it was there were tough times, and like I have ADHD too, and like that is something that I'm probably gonna need to be medicated for, because if I'm like doing the dishes and I see like the screw is loose on the dishwasher, I'm gonna go get my drill and I'm gonna fix that, and then I'm like, oh, like my drill battery's dead, but I can't find the charger, so I'm gonna go do that. Meanwhile, the dishes are still not done, and I'm supposed to be cooking dinner, and
Faucet's probably
so
still
like
running.
I just don't know. There's just times it's just, you can ask my wife. There are times she's like ready to slap me and just be like, bruh, focus, bring it on
I
home.
tell my wife,
Bring
the
it
same
on
thing.
home. So, but yeah, it's interesting. But like I said, the mental health thing it was a big push. And
Yeah,
I think it's a great thing.
COVID was the catalyst for a push in mental health in at least America, right? I don't know how the rest of the world dealt with mental health before that. Probably better than we did, because that's just the way that we are as a American society. I think that we're a proud group that doesn't want to admit any fault or doesn't want to admit any weakness. So, I mean, I could tell you that COVID was the catalyst for me getting help with mental health and grief and compassion fatigue. You know, I've been in emergency services since I was 16 years old, right? So, you know, I was 20 years in when COVID started, and like, yeah, I had some PTSD for sure. Like, there are incidents that I replay in my head that happened when I was 17 years old. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
You know, like we lived in a small town, and you know there was a homicide, a murder suicide, right? And you probably remember this.
I was third on scene.
Were you on the squad?
I was the lieutenant.
So I might have been 18.
I was lieutenant in charge of the squad that weekend because Ben was away.
So maybe I was 19. I don't know.
So,
but this
yeah.
call, it resonates in my brain. It probably does the same for you. And long story short, elderly couple, the gentleman killed his significant other and then tried to kill himself, but he survived. And I was on the fire department. I wasn't on the rescue squad at the time. And we set up a landing zone for this guy. And I can still vividly see his white socks that were soaked in blood, putting him on the helicopter. And like in therapy, like I've talked through this in therapy, and like it's not a trigger for me, but it's definitely, it shows the impact that these lasting events have in your life. And during COVID, I was working cardiac arrests in a hazmat suit. I was pronouncing people dead left and right. And it was trying, but I never thought that it took that toll mentally on me. But I can tell you when I realized it was, we were on vacation in Massanutten, and I was losing it. Like everybody, the kids were annoying me. My wife was annoying me. Like, everyone was annoying me. I stood out on the porch and I'm like, you need to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need help. So I called the therapist that day and I was like, I need to make an appointment because like I need something. And, you know, I went on anti-anxiety meds, because, you know, science proves that medication and therapy are much more beneficial than just one or the other alone. And, you know, it helped me work through my issues. And then when Dad died, right, like same thing, you know, like going to the therapist and talking through that and like breaking down with my therapist, who I love, you know, allowed me to kind of take that next step in the grieving process and start the recovery.
Right.
As opposed to trying to keep everything inside and being like, you know, like, I got to deal with this. I'm tough. You know, I have to be the man of the house, and I got to be, you know, stoic, and I have to not, you know, I cry more in this house than probably any of my kids or my wife.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way that I am, you know.
Right.
I think that's the three of us. We're all very emotional individuals, and, you know, we're not afraid to show that emotion.
Right. Well, like, and like you talking about the small town, like like what I was never on the fire department. Like the fire departments, each town had their own fire department. The rescue squad, the first aid squad that I was on, and I was lieutenant of, covered all three of those towns. But it was still only what, 15 square miles,
maybe.
And even in the largest part, which was where we grew up, was mostly farmland.
It's like I think Brewtown's like 4 square miles total. It's more than that.
It's more than that,
maybe
but it's
16, something like that.
It's not a lot. And like being on the squad for, I think I was on for 12 years. It was like you would drive by houses and be like, "Oh, I took somebody out of that house. This is so and so's house. I took her out when she died, or like whatever." And like there's definitely calls that you remember and that definitely stick with you. And we were talking about it the other day. I was talking about it with Liz. Unfortunately, there was a kid drowned in a pool. We saw on whatever Facebook. And I had one of those. And that's one of those calls that I will always remember. I can remember the smell. I can remember everything that day. I remember everything down to exactly what happened. I don't know. I don't remember what happened in the end, which I think it was a positive ending, but
it's a protection mechanism that your brain has, though.
But like, I don't remember that. I also I remember my first call. Like my first call ever getting in the ambulance was a kid stuck a plastic key in an electric outlet and like burnt his finger a little bit. And like we rolled up and like the kid's like happy and like goofing around, but like totally fine, which was good. But yeah, there's definitely like, you numb yourself to kind of cope and survive.
Yeah. I mean, and it's crazy, right? Because like back then what did we run? The squad ran what, 700 runs a year, maybe?
No, we were in like the 3,000 range.
Oh, 3,000s? All right. So like this is a decent amount of runs, but like it's funny because the fire department ran 100 runs a year, right around there. I do 100 runs a month. Like in my first year on the job, I probably did almost 1,000 runs, probably more than 1,000 runs. Honestly, probably did close to 3,000 runs back then because I was running everything. But you don't think about that when you're younger like that. Like you're like, oh man, I'm excited to go on a call. But then you don't think about that lasting impact of like, what is this going to do to me in 25 years when I'm, you know, sitting at home by the pool and I'm worried about my kids drowning, right? That's my biggest fear in life.
Right. Well,
hands down, 100%. Like I have a pool in my house and my biggest fear in life is one of my children drowning.
Right. And like you have all the protections out there. Like it's fenced in. Like the fence is a locking fence. Like you have all the protections out there.
But they're older now, so they want to swim by themselves, right?
Right.
So like Taylor came home from across the street the other night and there was a bunch of girls over there and they were having a sleepover and they're like, we want to go on a night swim. And I'm like, all right, we can go on a night swim. So she's like, well, don't worry, we'll be fine. I'm like, no, I'll be out there with you.
Right.
And I'm holding my iPhone up because our pool doesn't have like big spotlights because we don't do a lot of night swimming. And the pool light doesn't work because the electricity's all jacked up out there. This is another story. I'm holding my iPhone up with the iPhone light to count heads in the pool. So I held it up for 20 minutes. They swam for 25 minutes, and I'm holding my phone up, trying to make sure. What is wrong with
You need
me?
to get one of them Ryobi work lights.
No, I'm going to
put out
get
there.
solar lights to put on the fence.
But yeah, I mean, 100%. Like we we have cousins weekend coming up, and we tend to imbibe a little too much. And last year we fell asleep in the pool with floats on, luckily.
I fall asleep in the pool all the time.
But I got some extra precautions this year. Walmart had their clearance for pool items. I purchased a new tube that has LED lights in it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we have Swan like that.
And handles. So I will
nice.
be able to hold on, and you'll be able to see me when I fall asleep and wake up at 3 a.m.
Perfect.
But yeah, it's I prepared this year. But
yeah, it's crazy how your brain works, and it's crazy how you process the stuff, and then it all comes back again. Just that, and I love the fact I'm a big advocate for mental health. I have been since I started the journey. Being in the profession that I'm in, mental health was never in the forefront. When I started, even until COVID, it was suck it up, deal with the kid. You're going to be fine. You sit at the kitchen table, you drink a cup of coffee, and you forget about it, and you go about your day, right? Like when I worked in Jersey City, we would, my first cardiac arrest call where like we had a dead body. We left the scene, and my partner looks at me like, "What do you want for lunch? Chinese?" And I'm like, "What the, bro? Like what the
what?
You're talking about Chinese food right now? Like this guy just died, and this was like he's been dead for a minute type deal."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, you want Chinese food?" Oh, and he had a lot of cats. And I'm like, "What? I don't want Chinese food now." Like, no, bro. I don't want to. No.
Yeah, it's like you're mid meal, and you get the tones drop, and then you're like, oh, okay, we're going back to dinner. Like you just dealt with this person who's vomiting, and you're like, I just avoided vomit for 30 minutes in the back of an ambulance in like a closet. And no, I don't want to go back and eat dinner right now. Like,
yeah, now I'm going to go back and eat my cold meal because I'm not going to warm it up because
no, I don't
know. Take that extra time.
Wrap it up. I'll eat it tomorrow after I.
No, that doesn't affect me now. I just
it doesn't now. But when you're 16 and like,
well, yeah, that's true.
Like, because we all started when we were 16.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think I started at 17 because I could drive.
Yeah,
but like. We had kids that were starting at 14, and like, just some of the stuff, man. Like when you were talking about the murder suicide, I thought you were talking about the one that happened in Boone.
No, not that one. I was talking that you were too young for that one.
That one I was not on.
I think you were 15 because I had just joined. Like I was 16, like fresh. Yeah. Mom and Dad had to drive me to the firehouse to get on the fire truck.
Yeah. Yeah. So the one that I can remember, it was a murder-suicide, and it was a husband and wife with a young child. And the husband was having an affair, and due to religious reasons, they could not divorce. So the husband planned with his mistress. The mistress came down from New England and shot both of them, but murdered the wife and just glanced the husband, and it was right in front of the kid. And like for me as lieutenant, like I was in charge of the entire first aid squad at that point because like I said, Ben was on vacation, the captain was on vacation. So like there's videos of like me pulling up like in the response vehicle and like sat in the back of the ambulance, another town's ambulance, because both of ours were already there, and like transporting with the kid. And like I remember the kid just asking like, where's mommy? Like, where's mommy? Where's daddy? Where's mommy? Where's daddy? And I'm like, they're coming, bud. Like they'll be here. And like he was like 3, I think 2 or 3. And like this kid has to deal with this for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And like has no parents because mom's gone and dad's in jail.
And that was a big deal for us back then because, again, small town, right?
Super small town.
Like, you don't go to shootings in a small town. like not normally, right? Like, meanwhile, now I work outside DC and I go to a shooting every month.
I mean, that was the
It's
second
like
one I
it's
handled
like
too in
old
that year
hat for me to go to a
because
shooting.
we had the one in Mountain Lakes
Oh
on
yeah,
46, and that one was super intense. Like
that's right. That
was
was the doctor's office.
yeah, it was real estate. Guy walked in, wanted to have an affair with this girl, and didn't. She said no, and he wasn't
He
happy
said
with it.
no.
He said no. But then he went to his car, and it was like a standoff, and it was like craziest sound I've ever heard is this volley of fire. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't realize how it affects you until years later. Because like at the time you're like, oh man, that was a cool call. Like that was cool. And then now you're like, wait a second, I'm like an adult now, and like there's consequences to these actions. Like there's this, it doesn't sit the same as it used to.
No,
right?
it's not.
But
It's not like the fun call where it's like everyone talks about like how many CPR saves they have and like going to your first cardiac arrest, and like we had multiple different nursing homes in town and they were not the greatest. So like we went to several cardiac arrest events, and like you don't think about it, and like it's just another call. And like you were talking about like sitting around the table. I had one of my guys ask me one time, he's like, where do you go? And I'm like, what do you mean, where do I go? He goes, when we get in the ambulance, you're not there. And he was my driver. So like we were always together, like in the front seat. He's like, where do you go? And I'm like, had to think about it. And like after thinking about it, it's like I'm going through every possible scenario that could possibly happen with this call. And like I'm trying to line up all of the different things that I may need if I, and like in New Jersey where we were, like advanced life support could be 30 minutes away, or it could be 30 seconds away.
well,
So
you're always 7 minutes into a run by the time you get on the road.
right. And it's all volunteer. It was all volunteer. So you're not staying at the squad building for us. I had to respond from home, which was 5 minutes. And that's after I got dressed and after I got like everything going in the middle of the night. So it was definitely, it was like at least 7. I think our fastest we ever got on the road was 6 minutes.
Yeah. 7 was like the average.
Yeah. It was like average of 7 minutes. And so at that point, that's a lifetime to someone who is having an emergency. I mean, we had the fire down the road, and from time of dispatch to water on fire was 13 minutes.
It's pretty good.
And like we're in the boonies, and like we had the town fire department come out, and there's a fire department closer, but I don't know, they might have been out on a run or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
So like they had to respond out. We're paid, luckily, with volunteers who live in the house. So, but yeah, 13 minutes. I mean, I felt like an hour.
Well,
Like we're watching this thing happen.
Dad's cardiac arrest, right?
Right.
At my house, like, and luckily, again, where I live now, we have career EMS. I wouldn't move anywhere where we didn't have, some sort of paid service to be able to come in a, adequate amount of time, right? But I think it was 4 or 5 minutes was the response time because we were right down the road from the fire station.
Right.
And it feels like a lifetime. And then they blew the address, and then I got really mad. But like that 4 or 5 minutes to those people feels like forever.
Yeah. I mean, it's the worst. It is. And like being on both sides of it too. Like you don't like the mental load that you get, like being at the scene is different from the mental load that I got answering the call. Like, I think it was my second night shift working as a 911 dispatcher. And I had a lady call up. It was an elderly couple. And like this lady was probably I think she was in her 80s. And like her husband went into cardiac arrest. She's 80 something years old. And I'm like, there's nothing I can do. And this lady's been with her husband for 40 or 50 years. And like, all I'm like, is there any way you can roll him over? She's just sobbing. She's like, I can't. I'm just too weak. I can't roll him over. And like, I'm on the phone with this lady for 5 minutes while the cops are responding. And it was out in Washington Township. So it's a big town out in Western Morris County. And like, it's agonizingly brutal.
Because you
Like,
know the outcome at that point, right? Like
100%, you know the outcome.
unfortunately, you know that this outcome is not going to be positive.
No. And like a lot of times with those, it's all natural causes. It's all like whatever. But still, like, I'm on the phone with this lady who has been with this man for 45 or 50 years. And like, she can't help him. And like, it's the most helpless feeling. Like, I'm sitting there I was 25 when I took that job? 27, because it was 2012. So I'm 27, and like, there's nothing I could do. And I'm used to being able to be like hands-on, like whatever, like doing whatever I can. And it's just brutally agonizing. And like, same with like, you get the house fire calls, and there's like 4 or 5 calls that come in, and you're like, they're on their way. And they're like, they're not here yet. They're not here yet. I'm like, I understand, they're on their way.
Second source. That's how you know it's a job. I had one last night. 4 calls. Not a house fire. Car on fire in front of the house.
Oh, okay.
And this is where we have a skewed sense of like reality, as I was like upset that the house wasn't on fire. I'm like, 4 calls. This is definitely a job going down the road. And then they're like, no, it's a vehicle in the driveway. Turning it. It's like, oh. That was the second 1 and 2 shifts. But yeah, there's something wrong with me.
Well, and like, we used to have PD would be on scene before us.
Right.
So like, you would get the actual story of what was going on.
Which is nice, because I don't have that now.
Yeah, we don't. Doesn't happen here.
We get like garbage in, garbage out. Was like I say is, the caller's never going to give you the full story, and you know that more than anybody, being on the other side of the phone line. Is that the caller? They're frantic, or they're trying to say the right things to get people there faster. Which there's nothing you can say to get us there faster.
Well, and now with Pro QA, the question and answer software.
Yeah, most people hang up before they finish the questions.
Yeah, it's takes all the skill out of the position, but that's a whole nother 5-hour go on.
Ball of wax.
So, just shows how this generation is becoming more and more incompetent.
I think it's just
because of the technology we give them.
I think they think, not they. I don't know who they is, but if I was to say they think that it is much. When you take the human element out of it, it makes it foolproof, which is completely opposite. It
does make it foolproof, but when the computer system goes down and these kids are like, well,
if you ask somebody the same question 4 times and their answer is the same 3 of the 4 times, but the 4th time they're like, yeah, maybe I am, having trouble breathing. Maybe I am altered. Then, it changes the whole dispatch procedure. So not to get too deep into the nuance of the 911 system and dispatching and stuff. But yeah, it's the mental health aspect of, and Michael's going to be upset that he missed this, but he can recap next week.
We'll give him 15
because
minutes.
It's affected all of us 1,000%. All 3 of us have gone through all of the stages. All of us go to therapy. All of us, are actively working through mental health crises on a daily basis. I wouldn't say crises, mental health struggles, because crisis is a completely different thing. We're working through the struggles on a daily basis. And, I talked about Dad's cardiac arrest, so I don't know that we've told the story here.
I don't think
remember.
We've told the full story. We've mentioned it a couple of times.
So the full story, Michael's anniversary and my anniversary are the same day, but 5 years apart. So Michael's wedding was down here in Maryland. And at the time he lived on the other side of the Bay Bridge from where we live now. And his wedding was on that side, and, we had a great time, stayed up way too late, ate Domino's pizza in the bar.
We got to put the picture of the 3 of us
Yeah.
at the bar after. That's a great
That was
picture.
real. Yeah.
That's the real. You'll get the real feel of the three of us at post wedding,
Yeah.
post
And
Morehouse wedding.
it was awesome. It was a great time. We always have a great time. Everybody loves a Morehouse wedding. But then we got back to my house, and Dad he wasn't himself, but he was probably hungover. He drank like a bottle of scotch himself, dancing all night, eating junk, and we're watching the Players because it was in May, and that was when the Players was in May. So we're watching the Players and hanging out, and we ate dinner, and he's like, "Man, I just got this indigestion that won't go away." I'm like, "Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you. Just don't drink as much scotch next time, and it'll be fine." So he like fell asleep. He took a nap laying down on the couch in like it was like our playroom, and he never laid down to take a nap. It was always falling asleep sitting up. So I'm like, something's weird. But either way, so we eat dinner. He gets up. He didn't barely touches his food. Goes and sits on the couch, and all of a sudden I just hear snoring. But being a first responder, I know that there's regular snoring, and then there's like not breathing snoring. And it was the not breathing snoring. So I get up and I go over and I check on him, and he's in cardiac arrest, no pulse, agonally breathing. So at that moment, in the snap of a fingers, I went into work mode. And ironically, it was supposed to be my shift that day. I was off because of Michael's wedding. So I pull him to the ground, and I'll never forget. Mom's like, "Watch his head." I'm like, "Mom, he's dead. Don't worry about his head.
Yeah.
Let's worry about doing CPR." So I, look at my wife, and they say you revert back to your training, like call 911, tell the dispatcher that he's in cardiac arrest. So Mom ended up calling 911. Kate, my wife, runs down the street because we had 14 firefighters living in our neighborhood at that point. So, and there was 1, 2, 3, 4 firefighters on my street. So she runs down. She's trying to find anybody. And one of the guys was dropping his kids off, and he stopped, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Go help Sean. His dad, he's doing CPR on his dad." So I pulled him off the couch. I start doing CPR, and they're calling. And I'm talking to him the whole time because, like, in the back of my head, I've always remembered, like, hearing is the last thing that goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, "Come on, Dad. Come on, Jeff. Come back. Come on, Jeff. Come back." I didn't do mouth to mouth on him because that's gross. But doing compressions. Then Brian came in, and he's like, and this is another. I can see it as vivid as it was that day. Today, I can relive the whole thing. But Brian looks at me and goes, "I got this. Go ahead and be with your family." He's like, "That's where you need to be." And I looked at him and I said, "No, this is exactly where I need to be right now."
Right.
So the ambulance pulled up, and he took over CPR. I went out to the ambulance and brought them in, and I'm standing there, and it's weird being on the other side of the coin. I can tell you that, because you feel helpless. You really feel helpless at that point. So they put the AD on, they shock him, and I was like, thank God that was a shock, because that means that there's more hope than when there's not a shock. And they go through everything. The paramedics get there, the EMS supervisor gets there, the cops were there, like everybody's there. And all of a sudden, the one cop or the paramedic looks and he goes, "Hold on, he's back." So no shit, he opens his eyes and he's like looking around. And again, that's this son of a bitch. I'm like, this guy is just a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get him on the cot, they get him, wheeling out, and he's talking to Mom as he's getting wheeled out of my house. This doesn't happen. Like, if you're not a first responder, like if you don't understand kind of how this works with like your heart stopping and then at home, like I think that now it's more of a percentage. I think it's 7% out of hospital survival of cardiac arrest, of your heart stopping at home. So they wheel him out, they get him to the hospital, and like I have to call you because you had just left Maryland.
No, Kate. So Kate called us, and she called me like 4 times, didn't answer. She called Liz, and Liz answers, and she's like, she couldn't get anything out, understandably, when we found out what happened. And like our aunt, Mom's sister, was sick. She had cancer, and like
really sick.
And sicker than we thought. And we sent her home we sent her to the hospital. We were like, you should probably go to the hospital from the wedding the night before.
Yep.
And I thought it was something with her. And then she goes, Dad had a heart attack. And I'm like, what? And I think I made it down to your house in like 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah, I remember because I
Like
called
we were
you
literally
too.
bringing taking the bags out of the
Yeah.
car.
I called
and
you
Jake
too.
was on the floor.
I was standing next to my truck and I was like, Dad had a cardiac arrest. He's alive. He's in the ambulance. He's going to the hospital. And you're like, I'm on my way. So that was the most nervous part, was driving to the hospital because, again, being a first responder, knowing what I know, people rearrest all the time. Like they'll go back into cardiac arrest. So I'm like losing my mind. Mom's in the seat next to me. Kate's behind me. And like, I'm trying to keep it together. And then we get to the hospital. He gets cathed. He has 4 stents and he's good to go. And the doctor comes out. He's like, are you guys sure he's 49 years old? Because his heart looks really bad for a 49-year-old. We're like, no, he's not 49. He's 68.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, that got lost in translation. Yeah, he's born in 49. He's 68.
Yeah, he's born in 49.
Yeah. But yeah, and I didn't go to therapy after that.
No.
Like, I sucked it up. But I can tell you that going back to work, not only after that call, but after him dying, my trigger was 60-year-old men in cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of people, it's kids. A lot of people, it's, younger people. For me, it was that age group. And then having to do like death notifications and having to do that stuff because it was me reliving that memory over and over and over again.
Well, and like for me, I was always scared of peds. I was always scared of pediatrics because a pediatric patient could go from being perfectly fine to shitting the bed. Sorry, like, excuse the French, but it's exactly what happens is they can shit the bed very quickly. And I think Evie was born in 2019. When was that wedding? When was the wedding?
2017.
Okay. So this is 2 years later. So Evie was born, my youngest, in 2019. We didn't know that she had a severe severe allergy. And she had what's called FPIES, which is a allergy, but it's not an anaphylactic allergy. It's not like if you touch it or like peanuts or something like that. It's actually an intestinal allergy where your body can't process that type of protein. So we didn't know this, but all of my kids when they were born were lactose intolerant. So they couldn't have regular formula.
It's a real Morehouse trait.
It's a real Morehouse trait. But so we used to give them soy formula. So Evie was, it was March, so she was just about 6 months old. It's St. Patrick's Day. I'm home from work. Liz is at work. I worked a rotating shift when I was with the government in the city. So there were days that I was home. So I'm home with her. It's St. Patrick's Day. I'm giving her a bottle, and like my kids always had reflux. Like they always threw up after a bottle to some extent. So she starts to throw up, and she threw up a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, like we'll clean her up, all good. But it continues and it continues and continues, and like I think it was for probably about an hour. She threw up every like 10 minutes, and like at that point she was starting to like not look okay. I called Liz. I was like, hey, you should probably come home. The baby's sick. Like, so Liz gets home and she goes, holy crap, she looks like she's gonna die. And like for me, like I didn't even think about that. So we end up calling the ambulance. Ambulance comes and like thank God, like we knew all the first responders. Like I knew the cop that showed up. Cop came in, put her on oxygen. I knew the paramedic at that point, the first aid squad that we rode with had gone under due to lack of funding. So it was a paid staff. Luckily, I knew the paid paramedic that came, who I had ridden with for 15 years or however many years. She was a paramedic and I was an EMT. So like I saw her and I'm like, oh, thank God. Like I know she'll be okay. So they get her loaded up in the ambulance, like try to get her get an IV. She is so dehydrated they couldn't even start a regular IV. We get to the hospital. I drive to the hospital. Liz is in the ambulance with her. We get to the hospital. I park. I get to the back, and like this is the height of COVID. This is like 2021, or no, 2019. It's like right at the
before
beginning.
COVID started. Yeah.
No, because in March, It was March.
So it was
So it was
2020.
Yeah, so it was 2020.
So it was right at the
Like-
precipice, like right
Like
when
right where
everything
they had
shut
the tents
down.
outside.
Mm-hmm.
And like Liz is like, we are not taking her into the ER through the COVID area. Like that's not happening. So they get her, like they figure all that out. I park, I get to the back of the ambulance. My friend gets out of the ambulance. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "What happened?"
What?
I'm like, "What?" Like, Corinne, what happened? Like, what? And she goes, "I had to do an IO." And I'm like, "Okay, is she okay?" And she goes, "Yeah, like she's back to normal." And I don't care
Don't
what you
lead
had
with
to do.
that.
I don't care
lead
what
with,
you
I'm
had to do.
sorry.
Like, okay, you had to drill a needle into her shin. That's fine. She's not going to remember it. Like, and like the funny thing was, is like as she got older, they did an IO on Dad, and like Evie and Dad were like, "Yeah, we both had our shins drilled to like in the same spot."
brothers.
So, but like, luckily, FPIES is something they can grow out of, and she's grown out of it. But like, she rode in the ambulance twice before she was 2 from the house, and like, it's not something that I do. Like,
No.
my bone could be sticking out of my arm, and I'm like, I'll drive myself. I'm good.
It's not something that Mom and Dad did either. How many times did I have asthma attacks and Mom would drive me to the hospital?
Yeah, I mean, I drove myself to the hospital for when we were here, and I thought I was having a heart attack, and I literally drove from work in 66 traffic to the hospital that I trusted. And like, I'm like calling Liz, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna be late tonight." She goes, "Oh, what's going on? Like, you late meeting?" I'm like, "No, I'm at the hospital." She goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, Miles,
I'm fine now.
I'm having some minor chest pain, but like,
Just chest pains is
we're
fine.
good. We're good. We're all right. Cardiac only runs in our family
Right.
on both sides."
Yeah. I mean, we're, I think a good kind of like tie this all together is like, we're not immune to this stuff just because we're in the first responder community either. Right. Like,
Mm-mm.
we might know what to do a little bit more. And Mom and I had this conversation yesterday too about like just being medically literate. So understanding that you have to document things and you have to ensure that you have a trusted person with you when you go to the doctor, especially when you get older, right?
Mhm.
And you know, we have relatives that don't have that mindset, and they're like, "Oh, I'll be fine," and no, like, you need to go to the hospital. Like, you need to go to the doctor. You need to have that singing because you don't want it to get worse and worse and worse.
Mhm.
And I think we're fortunate to have that. But also I think we're fortunate to be able to advocate for that for everyone that we meet. Like, even, you know, even at work, like, I'll go to a call and I'll be talking to the family after, like, we bring the person out and put them in the ambulance, take them to the hospital. Like, you know, being on the fire truck, we stay, and being a supervisor, like, my job is a family liaison. So like, I go and I talk to the family and I'm like, "Hey, make sure that you put if this person is sick and they have like chronic illness, write their name, date of birth, social security number, medications, allergies, and medical history, put it in a Word document, keep it on your computer, and print one out and put it on the refrigerator."
Yep.
Because, and that's for anybody. Like, if you're listening right now and you have parents that are aging and you may not live close to where they're at, do this. Because as a
Like-
first responder, that's the first place that I'm looking, is on the fridge for this information. Because that's all the questions that I need to ask someone that, you know, understands their medical condition and medical history are right on that paper. So it saves us as time as first responders from asking the questions. We can just go right, put them in the ambulance and go. Like, I advocate for that all the time. And people are like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I never thought of that." Well, I mean, it's not something you're going to think of in your day-to-day life. Like, you're not sitting there watching, you know, the Today Show, and they're not doing a segment on this. Like,
Mhm.
these are things that we unfortunately have experienced, and it allows us to have that information to be able to give to the world and give to, you know, our listeners and give to anybody that, you know, is willing to listen. Like, hey, this is going to make your life easier. It's going to give you some solace if you're not there. Right? Like, when Dad, after his cardiac arrest, we were in Maryland, you were still in Jersey.
Yeah, for a
But
couple years.
we made sure that on his phone under the health information in his iPhone, he had all of his meds, all of his history, everything. Because that way, if God forbid something else happened, mom had that right in front of her, and we continued to update it throughout his medical journey. What we'll call it his medical journey.
I think the Odyssey was easier than his medical journey. But he never did anything the easy way.
No.
Never.
Nope. Nope. Always kept us on our toes.
Yeah. Yes.
Real.
That he did.
Real. Just
it's
a real
situation.
Interesting. Real situation.
Interesting.
God, it was a real situation there. But yeah, I mean, we kind of went all over the place, but I think, understanding where we're coming from and where what has brought us to understanding grief and understanding mental health and understanding that it's okay to not be okay is a super important thing to talk about.
Yeah. And I think that was one of the hardest things that, like, for me is like it's learning to be okay with not being okay is one of the hardest things. Cause like we growing up in our generation, it was like, you're going to therapy, like, man, you must be crazy. Like you're going to like, you're half a step away from a padded room. And like, while having 4 kids, I would love a padded room probably once a month just to decompress and be away. But, like growing up, like that was a stigma that was out there. And like, now I think I'm so happy that stigma is gone and like people are finally taking care of themselves. Cause like, while it's a difficult pill to swallow and at first, like your life after is so much better. Like therapy and like I was totally anti medication at first, and now I'm like, it's life changing. Like medicine is there to make things better, and like this is something that like you deserve to be happy. Like we only get so many trips around the sun, and like I think one of, like you say it all the time, like one of the things that we've learned from Dad's passing is like you have to cherish the time you have.
Yeah.
And like you don't want to be a miserable person during your time here. Like enjoy the time with your family, enjoy the time with your kids and make sure you have the happiness that you deserve.
Yeah. I mean, whatever it takes to get you to a point where, you're happy and you're enjoying your life and you're an enjoyable person to be around, right? Coping mechanisms come in many shapes and sizes, whether it's exercise, whether it's meditation, whether it's, traveling, whether it's, taking a couple minutes journaling, anything that works for you. Like there's no prescription for it. And it's the same with grief, right? Like whatever it takes for you to get through the tough times, do it. And if somebody says like, "Oh, that's weird," be like, "Cool, you're weird." Like this is what works for me. Like who
it's
cares?
Not for anyone to judge. Like what works for you is going to be what works for you. Like for me, it's like I'll just go into the golf course, and like for me having I had a hip replacement in December. Like I went out yesterday and played for the first time, played 9 holes, and like I only got really played 6 holes because I got to the point where like I was starting to get painful. I was starting to get like tired, and like my doctor said like it's going to take you a year to get back to normal. And like for those of you who actually know me, like my stuff is jacked up. It's real jacked up, and like after 40 years of doing it the wrong way, trying to figure out how to do it the right way is probably gonna take 40 years. But like just getting out there and just being out there with my buddy, just shooting the shit for 9 holes. Like in like the last 3 holes, like I was just helping him like adjust his game so he could play better. And like seeing other people succeed is one of my favorite things ever. Like if I can teach somebody one thing a day and see them succeed, like that's one of my favorite things ever.
It's that social aspect, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
In that golf episode, right? Like, I don't play golf for the game. I play golf because I love hanging out with the boys.
Yeah. And like, we were out in like Front Royal, Virginia, which is just a gorgeous area up in the mountains. And like, we went out and played 9 holes. And we went out and had this burger place. And then like the burger was phenomenal. It's probably the best burger I've ever had. It had boardwalk fries. It was just like a perfect day, perfect morning. It was like 3 hours and like total reset, which was awesome.
Yeah. And it allows you to come back refreshed and ready to deal with everyday life, right? Deal with kids that are fighting. You know, summer's
It's
coming to
been
an
so
end,
bad.
and I'm so ready for my kids to go back to school. I will miss and for me, I think it's literally just sitting in the pool by myself, or like watching my kids play in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when was it? It was yesterday, Thursday. So Wednesday night, it was beautiful here on Wednesday. So I went in the pool, and I've been going in the pool in the afternoons because the sun's a little bit less extreme. Um, so we go in the pool, and just me and Jack, and we're just hanging out. And then Taylor comes out, and she's, swimming, and they're just playing. And I'm sitting there in my spot on the edge of the pool, drinking a Coors Light. Not a sponsor, but we would love you to be a sponsor.
Oh yeah, keep those mountains blue.
Um, and like Kate came out, and I'm like, this is it. Like, and I have one of these moments every year, at least once a year, where I'm like, this is it. Like, this is why I work so hard. This is why,
Right.
you know, it doesn't matter, status or anything. Like, this is what I strive to do. Like, this is what I'm striving for my kids to have. Like, it was awesome. We stayed in the pool till 7:30,
Yeah.
hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
just they're playing games and they're racing, and it's just like, dude, I am so happy. And that happiness carries over. You taking that time and doing something that you love, that happiness will carry over for the next couple days, week, 2 weeks. And then once you start feeling, that pressure again, or start feeling sad, or start, feeling that post-traumatic stress, like, do it again. Do it again. It's hard in the winter. You need to go in the pool. But
Got
like,
got to test the ice like Uncle Jim.
oh yeah, yeah. I wish I could get some of these videos
Oh, they're
to
so good.
I wish I could figure out a way to download them, because I'd love to just put those up on the old socials. Some
Oh,
of these
so
things are
good.
just amazing.
So
I might have
good.
to screen record them.
Mm.
But yeah, I think kind of to close it out is your journey is unique to you, and don't feel the pressure that it's a set time limit, or it's a set way to grieve, or it's a set way to deal with your mental health. Every person, it's unique, and use what works for you, and don't let anybody else dictate how you're supposed to grieve or how you're supposed to deal with things. Um, you know, you are you. There's only one of you, and again, it's okay to not be okay. So take that time for yourself. Take that self-care, whatever it may be, and be present and be the best person you can for your family.
But yeah, 100%. And like you said, you have to be okay with not being okay. Like you have to realize that like there are times you need like there's professional people that are trained to help you and like work through these things. And grief is like I said earlier, it's like it comes in waves. Like there'll be 3 or 4 weeks where I'm totally fine and I don't even think about it, and then like it'll hit me like a ton of bricks. I could be
Mm-hmm.
sitting in traffic, it could just hit me for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, but it just all of a sudden just hits me. Um, and like we said, like the last 2 weeks, I don't know, like I guess not even 2 weeks for me. It's been like the last 4 or 5 days. It's been like super rough. Like I just don't know what's going on. Like I just like I think it could be like for me, like I'm starting my new job on Monday, and like dad was like my go-to. He was like, oh yeah, like you got this, like number one cheerleader. I read the post that I posted when he died, and it's like he was our number one cheerleader. Like
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, like he was there to support us. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things for me that I miss is like that cheerleader. But like we have each other, like we said last time, and Michael said it last time, like we're like a one of a kind kind of situation where like we have each other, and like we're always here like to back each other up and like cheer each other on. So, but yeah, you have to be okay with it. And like grief sucks. Bottom line in the story, like it
Mm-hmm.
sucks, and it's gonna suck forever. Like you said, like you're a different person after that parent dies, and absolutely 100%. But I take the lessons that he taught us, and like I keep pushing them forward. Like what can I do to help someone out? Like how can I make someone's day better? Like just saying hi to everybody or waving to somebody as you drive by. Like, he was classic for that. He waved at everybody.
That's kids ask me all the time, why do you wave at everybody in the neighborhood? I said, so they know that I'm watching them. That's what he used to say.
So they know I'm watching them.
So they know I'm watching them. And I mean, like you said, that being a different person, it doesn't mean you're a worse person. It doesn't mean you're a better
Right.
person. You're a different person. And maybe it took, that Sentinel event for you to really take ownership of who you are or who you wanted to be, but were never able to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But
100%.
Yep. So I think unless you have anything else, we can kind of close it out.
No, we should send Michael some Dayquil.
Oh yeah, we should.
Send him some Walmart Dayquil.
Some chamomile tea.
Some Cepacol lozenges.
Yeah, he should be back next week. I don't know. Apparently he's got something going on.
He said last time it took him 2 weeks to get back, so we'll see.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We'll make it
next week.
He can learn sign language.
Right. We'll just hold up signs.
Cue cards. He gets a yes or a no. That's it.
Right. That's it. That's all you get. That's all you get.
Agree or disagree?
Yeah. Thumbs up. Thumbs down. Or like Gladiator.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as always, if you're not following us on the socials, please go ahead and follow us. We're trying to post a lot more content. So little snippets from the show to kind of let everybody know kind of what we're about, what we're doing. Facebook, Love Your Pal Podcast, Instagram, Love Your Pal Pod, TikTok, Love Your Pal Podcast, and YouTube, Love Your Pal Podcast. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. When you're there, please leave a review, leave a comment. Let us know what your coping mechanism is for this week, right? So under the show, leave a comment. What do you do to kind of decompress and kind of, say, dissociate from what you have going on? Because your coping mechanism might help somebody else who doesn't really know what their coping mechanism is. So leave a comment, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button so that you see our content every week. Also, you'll see the YouTube shorts and stuff that we're posting on a weekly basis, almost trying to post every day. So give you a little bit more insight into what's going on. Yeah, I mean, check out the merch shop. We got all kinds of merch out there: hats, quarter zips, t-shirts, and more to come as we continue this journey. So, you got anything else? Anything you want to add?
No, but I got the quarter zips and they're real nice.
Nice.
I forgot to wear it today. I also got a mug. Mug's great. It's a great little mug. So
good for
definitely check out
coffee.
the merch. It's good stuff.
Or your tours on the way to lacrosse practice.
That's it.
All right. Well, until next week. Yeah. Love you, pal.
Love you, pal.